project, and it's about gun violence. So, gun violence has been something that's really picked up around the world. It's taken the world by storm, as you can see. First picture, some propaganda about uh, gun violence and stuff with Uncle Sam, and then the next picture is just like a graph, like a map of all the mass shootings just in 2023. So the problem. So I only picked two main events because there's so many, so I had to narrow it down. So the first one I picked was the Texas Outlet Mall shooting that happened probably a couple weeks ago. 8 people were shot and killed, and the youngest being 3 years old. The law enforcement who took down the shooter said he was wearing a tactical vest. He had a rifle and a handgun, and he was probably a part of a neo-Nazi supporting group. But they're not sure yet because this happened a few weeks ago, so they're still under investigation and stuff. This was the second mass shooting in Texas in a little over a week, and the second worst shooting in the United States this year. Next is a white homeowner accused of shooting a black teen who rang his doorbell. I brought this up in a older discussion post but this teenager was shot in the head and the arm, and he was literally just picking up his siblings from school. He rang the doorbell and was shot in the head and the arm. The man turned himself in a few hours later, a few weeks later, but got released a few hours later. And the man said he was just thinking it was because he thought he was getting broken into, like his house. But when the teenager was asked after all his surgeries and stuff, the boy never touched the door. And then there's a quote from CNN. Nobody can tell us if the roles were reversed. You had a black man shoot a white 16-year-old teenager for merely ringing his doorbell. He would not be arrested. Would he not be arrested? I mean, this citizen went home and slept in his bed at night after shooting this young black kid in the head. So, the health effects of gun violence. So, mental health is a big issue, I feel like, for everyone. So, I use this example of Heather Martin. She was a part of the Columbine shooting of in 1999, April 20th. And a little bit about that, I had to do a little bit of research. On April 20th, 1999, two teenagers opened fire at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, killing 13 people and injuring more than 20 more before turning firearms and committing suicide. This was one of the biggest school shootings that the United States has ever seen. Right before Sandy Hook, it was this one right here. So, Heather wasn't wounded during the shooting, but she had to live through the aftermath of this, describing it as horrifying. It left her with recurring nightmares. She dropped out of college after developing an eating disorder and taking recreational drugs. It wasn't until the 10-year anniversary of the shooting that she found the help she needed. And mental health doesn't just take a toll on the closest to the gun violence, it ripples through the community and the nation. Solutions. So, gun violence is such a big issue. It's not going to be just solved in a snap. This will probably not even see my lifetime to be solved, or it's probably going to be a very, very, very long time before there is a solution. So, my solution that I think should be more enact is gun control laws. So, like other states, California has the highest strictest gun control laws, and they have the lowest deaths caused by firearms, and all these gun prohibition laws are community organizations that have put them on, thanks to funding and stuff, and other places who have these laws are Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Hawaii, Minnesota, Massachusetts. The United States, where 45,000 people a year are killed or injured by firearms, debate other gun control and the Second Amendment is still iffy. So again, I talked about Massachusetts, and they have some really good gun control laws, as in the firearm has to purchase a firearm, they have to purchase a permit from the police, and then that takes weeks, and then they also have to fill out paperwork and have an interview and still go through the background check, and then the chief of the police is still within his or her right to refuse the license once this all has been done, and then once they get the license, they have to go through more background checks at the gun shop after the license has been obtained. And I feel like I said in this little thing, I feel like if we had more of laws like this, I feel like we would start to see little to no mass shootings where young adults have come across or gotten a hold of military-grade weapons. So I saw this video, and I'm not sure if it will pop up, but it's a TikTok that I just found talking about gun control, and it's comparing it to abortion and how hard it is. So let's see if it will come up. And it will not. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, you get the volume.
A mandatory for every young man who wants to buy a gun, like every woman who wants to get an abortion. A mandatory 48-hour waiting period, parental permission, a note from his doctor proving he understands what he's about to do, a video he has to watch about the effects of gun violence, and an ultrasound wand up the ass.
So that was just an example of this all, of like how strict these laws need to be just to get some stuff going. Some data is the first mass shows the number of mass shootings per million residents, and also states the regulation permissive score, which goes from 0 to most restrictive to 100, with the most permissive. So like the pink is the most permissive, so you see those in like Texas and like all them, but like, or like the blue purple, you see those in the like less restrictive. So California, Massachusetts, New Jersey over there. And then the little dots show the number of mass shootings per million. As you can see that California has a little bubble and stuff. And then the second one shows the gun laws with a grade. And then the blue represents the states with the lowest deaths, and the orange with the highest. And then like there's not enough data for the white ones. As in, you see every state has a letter grade, as in like only the states like New Jersey, California, Massachusetts have A minuses, and mostly every other state in California has a D, C, or F. So there's some B minuses and stuff like that. My contribution is there's nothing I can do right now, like physically. Like I can't snap my fingers and gun violence will be done. It's going to not happen overnight. It's going to take many, many, many years, and it'll probably not even be done in my lifetime. So all I can do right now is spread awareness of this issue, because a lot of people are not really aware of how crazy it's going, how crazy it's been. Many people will think that what is happening is okay, but that's on them. But we can't make an effort to change if we don't do our part. So here's some pictures of kids protesting, and here's my bibliography.